everyone, it's Elena and I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be explaining my educational journey a little bit. I get quite a few messages, especially from newer subscribers who are just a little confused about, what exactly did I do as a student? Like, why was I in Hong Kong? What did I do at Stanford? And am I still at Cambridge? Because I'm currently in Germany. And so I just thought I would explain the different stops along the way on my educational journey, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, so let's start out in high school. I was at a normal German public high school, and we actually had a bilingual class, and I was part of that class. Basically what that meant is that we were taught one subject in English in a year. So the subject changed every year, so sometimes it was biology, history, and other times it was geography. But honestly, I think it really helped me with my English, and I really enjoyed these lessons. However, unfortunately, we were only offered to do biology as an A-level subject, and you needed to do one subject in English in order to get your international A-levels. And that was something that I definitely didn't want to do, because I mean, I had put in all the work in the years before. But I really didn't want to do biology at A-levels because I wanted to study law, and I honestly didn't enjoy biology that much. So I was already looking at transferring schools simply because my school did not offer the subjects that I wanted to do for A-levels. And that's how I came across the United World Colleges. The United World Colleges are a group of boarding schools around the world which have the mission to unite people from different parts of the world together for a sustainable and peaceful future. And honestly, when I read their website and I researched the different schools, I was just like, oh my god, that is literally everything that I want. And so I applied and I was admitted for the school in Hong Kong, which is Li Chun United World College. Now, when you apply to the United World Colleges, you usually apply to your national committee. And the German Foundation of the United World Colleges offers any student who needs financial aid a scholarship. And it can be up to full scholarships if you need that. So the great thing is that you don't have to worry about whether you can afford it. And that was absolutely 100% true in my experience, because they gave me a quite generous scholarship, which then allowed me to attend Li Chun United World College. So from 11th and 12th grade, I was in Hong Kong. Until then, I had been in Germany. I was in my bilingual class, but that was pretty much it. Like, I wasn't at an international school or anything like that. But honestly, my German public school was amazing, and they supported me a lot. Especially also in the application process to UWC. A lot of my teachers, agreed to do a prep interview with me, and they gave me tips for applying to different foundations and stuff. So I'm really grateful to that school. It was just unfortunate that it really wasn't a match with the A-level subject selection. But yeah, that's how I then ended up in Hong Kong. If you guys want to know more about how I got into my school in Hong Kong, so what extracurriculars did I have, what were my grades like in high school, then you can check out the video that I made about that up here or also in the description box below. In Hong Kong, I did the IB, so we were taught in English only, and as subjects for higher level, I did history, global politics, and English language and literature. And for my standard level subject, I did mathematical studies, French B, and biology. So I still did biology, but only as a standard level subject, which means I had to do much less work for it than had it been, a more intense A-level course. And so I was fine with that, but I just knew that I wouldn't want to do it, for example, as a higher level subject. In the IB, you also have to do an extended essay, which I think for a high schooler, it's a pretty big research project. And you pick the subject in which you write it. I wrote mine in history about the Nuremberg trials, and I just researched that over the summer break, and then I finished it when I was in 12th grade. Now, also in that summer break between 11th and 12th grade, I went to Stanford University for their summer session. It's basically a program for high schoolers where you can attend university classes, which is a lot of fun in my opinion. Like, okay, that's my definition of fun. I don't know if other people would think that's fun, but I really enjoyed it. That was also, by the way, the first time in my life that I got like a really fancy looking certificate, and I still treasure it. Like, I think it looks very fancy. So basically, you can do a certificate there. So you can do, for example, a human rights intensive study certificate, or you can pick a different topic. Like, they offer a few different ones. And in order to get these certificates, you just need to attend a few extra talks, and you need to pick subjects from a certain subject area. And I did the human rights intensive study certificate because that's the area that I was really interested in. I still am very interested in that. And I did a course on Introduction to International Relations and another one on Genocide and Humanitarian Intervention. I believe the summer session lasted for about 8 weeks. It was pretty intense because it is university classes and you are just coming from, the high school experience, and in university you are expected to be much more independent. However, I really enjoyed the experience, and I think it, was just like a nice look into what uni life will be like. And the other thing is, because I was writing my extended essay at the time, I was able to use their libraries and resources also for researching my extended essay. And that was super, super useful, especially because Stanford has a law school and I had access to the law school library. So I could get my hands on academic literature about the Nuremberg trials through that. And that was very useful. So yeah. It was honestly like a really good match, and I basically just did my uni classes and wrote my extended essay at the same time, and that's how I spent my summer. So I finished my classes at Stanford with a 4.0 in all of them, and then I went back to Hong Kong for my 12th year. And in grade 12 I also applied for universities. Now you usually apply with your predicted grades because you don't have your exam grades yet, since you're only going to sit them in a year. So I was predicted a 42 with 776 in my higher level subjects. And that's why I applied to Cambridge, because that matches what their usual conditional offer for law is. And I also applied to a few different universities, especially in the US and a few in the UK. If you guys are interested in where I applied, where I got rejected and where I got in, I have an entire video about that, and I'm gonna link it up here and in the description box below for you guys. But basically, long story short, it really came down to a decision between Princeton and Cambridge. There were two main reasons for why I picked Cambridge over Princeton. One is at Cambridge I could study law as an undergraduate student. In the US you can't do that, so I would have had studied something related to politics. And while I am very interested in politics, I am more interested in law, and so Cambridge offered me the right subject. The other factor, which is honestly a very big reason for me as well, is money. Because Princeton's financial aid offer was honestly not great, and my Cambridge college, which is St. John's College, offered me the NATO bursary, and that one enabled me to attend Cambridge. And so Cambridge was the better option subject-wise, but also financially. Now, thanks to my amazing school in Hong Kong, I actually got a second scholarship for Cambridge, because my school in Hong Kong recommended me to a German foundation called the Studienstiftung. And your school can recommend you after you leave the school and go to university, but there are also other ways into the foundation. I'm gonna link them in the description box below if you guys are interested in them. But basically, my school recommended me to the foundation, and then the foundation invites you to apply. And so I applied to them, and I did my selection process in the first year that I was at Cambridge, and I also got in. And so then I had a second scholarship which came from that German foundation. So far it sounds like my first year went really, really well at Cambridge, but actually it was a really, really bad time for me. And I hadn't really, processed all these changes in my life, and I think it was just a lot that was happening all at the same time. And I became very, very unhappy, and I felt very, very lonely. And I ended up being diagnosed as clinically depressed, which honestly made sense because I was miserable, putting it mildly. And so I ended up leaving Cambridge after my second term. So you have 3 terms in the year. So I finished the 2 terms where we have teaching, and usually the last term is the exam term. And I left and I went to therapy here in Germany and just got better, and then I returned for my second year. I was already doing YouTube at the time, and I was honestly really scared of, telling people that I left for my mental health, like I took a break. Because I felt like it made me look like a failure, which is such a dumb thing, because honestly, if you take a break for your mental health, that's a really strong thing that you're doing. And you are taking a step to getting better, and that's something you can be proud of. But I was in a very bad mindset at the time, and I didn't really see that. But I did, of course, know that people would notice eventually that I'm not at Cambridge anymore. And so once I had gotten a lot better thanks to therapy and, also just working on myself, I then made a video about it, which is this video, why I left Cambridge, which honestly helped me personally so much. Because I thought that I was going to lose subscribers and I was going to get really mean comments about, not being good enough. But actually, people were so supportive and helpful and nice and kind. So that was a really good experience for me that also really helped me feel like I had done the right thing, and like it was accepted that I had done this and that people were supporting me. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who commented under that video. You made me very, very happy in a really difficult time. And so yeah, basically I spent my entire summer and the exam term going to therapy, working on myself, and then I went back to Cambridge for my second year. And I had to sit my first year exams at the beginning of my second year, but honestly that was alright. And yeah, then I just did my second year, and I was so much happier during my second year. I think you can also see that in my vlogs. Like, I was genuinely excited about, being at Cambridge, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just so glad that I took that mental health break, because I realized in my second year that I can be genuinely happy in this place. And it took a lot of work to get to that genuine happiness, but I did reach it, and I'm so glad that I had my second year with all my friends. But yeah, then the pandemic happened and we were all sent home, and there is this like 40-minute vlog of me panicking of whether I can get home. I feel like I just keep mentioning different videos, but that's basically just, you know, in case you watched it, maybe you know the story. But yeah, basically what I mean is it was a bit of a drama for me to get home. If you want to watch that drama at some point, I'm gonna link it in the description box below. But long story short, I made it home. And yeah, then we had to sit our exams at home. Now normally you get a class in the UK, but we weren't classed that year, so it's like FAIRS 2-1, 2-2, FAIR. And you are classed based on, you know, the percentage you achieved. But the faculty decided not to class us in that year because A, you know, suddenly the exam format had changed, and B, they knew it was a very difficult time for all of us. And you know, things were just very improvised during that year because nobody had prepared for that scenario. And so they felt like it wasn't fair to students to class them, and so they only gave us the percentages. Now I ended up getting about the equivalent of a 2-1 and a first in international law. I ended up getting a third scholarship from my college for the percentages that I achieved during my exams, and basically that isn't a monetary scholarship, but it did come with a college prize which has some money attached to it. And that was honestly great because it just helped me pay my university bill. So yeah, that's where my second year story ends, and my time in Cambridge basically went on a break because I'm doing an exchange year. Now, my year abroad was agreed on before COVID happened. So I had thought I was, you know, gonna do a normal year abroad at Regensburg University in Germany. It turns out I'm pretty much just at home doing online classes which are not provided by Cambridge but rather by Regensburg, and some of them happen to be in German rather than just English like they would be in Cambridge. So those are the big differences right now. My year abroad isn't like I imagined it to be, but that's perfectly okay, and I'm honestly really glad actually that, you know, I get to be with my family during this time. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I just finished my classes for my first semester, so unlike in Cambridge we don't have 3 terms, but rather we just have 2 semesters. And so I will be sitting my exams in February and March, and then the second semester will start in April. And yeah, that's my educational journey summarized. I hope this, you know, clears up a little bit of the confusion, you know, about where I was at different points of, you know, my educational journey. Because I understand it's a little bit all over the place. But yeah, I'm honestly very grateful for all these experiences that I got to have already. And yeah, my time in Cambridge wasn't always perfect, but I gotta be real with you, my second year in Cambridge was one of the best years of my life. And I can only tell you that like that mental health break is the reason for why I got to have that amazing year. So yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who watched this video, and also to all the people who made all these different steps on my journey amazing. And yeah, let's see what this year abroad has in store for me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye!